Hello sunshines, welcome to BunniPhish Crafts. I'm your host Heather, known as BunniPhish on all of the internet places. Today we are doing a very special BunniPhish Reads, wherein I talk about setting up my minimalist bookish journal. Let's flip through. So table of contents was just a sticky note that I put in, and another sticky note with my book rating system, which I used for how many rounds I would put on squares, because I did make a blanket to go along with this journal. I started writing in this journal in 2021 when I joined a challenge for Shelby in the Book Club, but I was not successful at that challenge. I'm really not successful if challenges don't immediately send me, like if I don't get an email reminder every day. So then I restarted in 2022. I set up a reading A to Z, which I really, really liked. It's just fun. It's not necessarily to try to get every single letter. I put a reading log that is a running log. So it goes to a new page when I finish that page, and then I immediately jumped into my entries, which have title, author, number of pages, start date, finish date, and then whatever I want to write about the book. So it might be a summary, it might be quotes, and I want to take most of that into my new reading journal. But I've also been watching BookTube, and people are setting up new reading journals. And so I do have a couple ideas that I want to bring into the new journal. I haven't opened it yet. Let's see what's inside. Oh, look at that. The front cover is fingerprints, because this is a novel journal. So these lines in here are lines of the story. This is The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. My sister got me these notebooks, so I don't know if they're even available because she got them for me a while ago, but if I can find them, I will put a link in the description box below. And I've never read the Sherlock books, so I think I need to now that I'm working on a Sherlock notebook. But let's go ahead and get started setting up my reading journal. I like a really minimalist reading journal, and as much as I liked doing the star system in the previous journal, I really want to scale it back and keep it to just what I can do with pen, paper, and probably washi tape to mark things off, because I have all of these ideas that I want to use in my journal, and I don't want to get bogged down in the stuff. I think the first thing that I want to do is a series tracker, because I do tend to read a fair amount of series. And it would be really, really cool to have a place to write down the series and also record what pages they are. So if there's a book that I read, 3 years ago, and now the next book comes out, I can go back and refresh myself on what happened in the book, how I was feeling about what happened, how it was or was not relevant to other things. So yeah, sorry, I had to adjust because my mom taught me how to write and she was left-handed. And even though I'm right-handed, I've very much turned my paper to write as if I were left-handed. So that's why my position changed and my arm might look like it's in a weird spot for writing. I have read Murderbot Diaries 1, 2, and 3. And 1 and 2 are in my purple journal. and 3 is going to be in this journal. So it's really nice to have a place to kind of refer back to older pages in other trackers so that I know where to find information as I'm reading future books in the series. I think first I should probably start numbering my pages. And even though this isn't the traditional way that we number pages, I am going to number them this way. So I'm going to leave 4 pages per series just because I don't actually know how much space that's going to need. And I would rather have too much space, I think, because I can always come back and do some sort of collage-y stuff or put something else in, use the page for something or pages. I also would like to have my bookish bingo in here and an A to Z and a like a reading log. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my 2026 page oh, that 2 is not as pretty. That's okay too. It's not your fault. It's your fault. Okay, 2026. I am going to put reading A to Z and then actually write the letters for A to Z. And I liked what I did on a previous spread where I wrote the letters 2 per line, and then that gave me space on the bottom to write in other books that I read in the year that didn't fit to a letter. That didn't fit to a letter because the letter had already been used up. This is a little bit of a challenge to myself, although I don't necessarily need to finish this. I don't need to fill in every letter. It's just kind of fun, just a fun little tracker thing, but not a necessity. I do want to put my bookish bingo in. There's 24 lines, not including the bottom. I think, though, that I'd rather write out my goals than, like, make a grid. So that's what I'm going to do because I have a plan for my entries. I also really like my reading log, so I'm going to put that here. I know it's going to be part 1 because I always have at least 2 parts during the year. And my reading log has title, author, and month started and finished. I used to do it where I would list months at the top and then like have dots for starts and finishes, but I can't predict how long I'll be on a specific page, so that didn't really work for me. And that is